Hi everyone, my name's Marita, and in this cute little video I'm going to be talking about making calendars. So every year I make a calendar. I don't recommend it because if you do it once and then you give them away to all your friends for the holidays, they're going to expect one the next year and the next year and the next year, and you're going to be trapped. So be wise and turn off the video right now and go do something fun or relaxing or useful. Those of you who stuck around, I respect that as well. We're just gonna get started, I guess. I will say that there's a million ways to do this, or there's at least like 3 ways to do this. Mine is only one. I'm sure it's not the best way. It's just what I find easiest. It's very doable with like little skill and shitty supplies. But you definitely need time. So make sure you give yourself loads of time to work on this project because it can be a bit grueling. Okay, so I guess I'll start with some of the supplies you might need. So definitely a ruler. I have a ruler just to show you that I really have one. A ruler. You're going to want to have a pencil and eraser because you will make mistakes. And then whatever kind of tools bring you joy. So if you want to do black and white, that's wise. It'll be way cheaper when it comes to printing, I think. I tend to use pencil crayons for this project, but whatever floats your boat, excuse me. And what else? Oh yeah, scissors and tape or glue I use when assembling everything. And the paper that I use is, so I actually get 11 by 17 paper. So you can see this is 11 by 17 paper. And the way that I've assembled everything is taping or gluing 8.5 by 11 sheets onto that paper. So that when I go to the printer, it's just these 11 by 17 double-sided color things that I'm getting photocopied. But I'm working initially in the frame of 8.5 by 11. Sorry, I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so definitely before I get started, I usually write a list of all the months and remind myself that there's 12 of them and that it's going to take a while to get through it. And I'll usually jot down some ideas. So I'll like gaze into my crystal ball and think about the future and be like, what's it like in August, my birthday month? Oh, something nice. Or October, Halloween. July, I'll often think of like, oh, my friend whose birthday is in July, and I'll do things that make me think of them. Like, oh, I like talking to her on the phone, and she likes to relax and like maybe go camping. Also, she kind of likes video games. So I'll do that. Jot all those down. I definitely recommend not drawing them in order. So don't be like, I'll start with January and make my way to December, because by the time you get to December, either your drawings will be way better than they were in January or they'll be way worse because you're so over it and tired. So I hop around so nobody can tell. And if you can tell, then you're looking too close. So yeah, don't just follow your whims, but try not to go in order. Yeah. So yeah, make your little list, dream about the future, and then you eventually do have to get started. So what's nice about this project is there are ways that you can kind of cheat yourself into working on it. So if you're not actually feeling inspired to draw on a particular day, you can just be working on the date grids. So you'll see a couple different examples of date grids depending on how the month is laid out, which you have no control over. That's just the Gregorian calendar for you. So sometimes I'll work in a full rectangle. So there's always going to be, of course, 7 columns because of the 7 days of the week. And then usually 5 again most months, I think. Yeah, we'll have 5 of the rows. And they won't always be completed, so you'll have space to either, I like filling in like a little box with some dancing boots and some dancing flowers, or instead of doing the full grid, you can leave it, just do the parts that have actual dates. I'm making so much sense. And then fill in the rest like this. So this is one example of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. But I was able to just add one at the top. So what is going to serve you is if you make yourself that grid. And then make a version that you can copy a million times so that it doesn't feel like the beginning every time. I'm just getting a little bit lost. Oh, there we go. So yeah, make like a master copy of the grid options, so that on a day when you're like, okay, I should get something done, but I don't know what I'm doing, you can just work on something as simple as like, oh, I will do the dates for July. And even that can be a little bit creative. That's where I actually had the most fun, is drawing like the little doodads that go with whatever theme I went with. So because I do video games, I was like, oh yeah, Mario characters. What a genius I am. Also, that's another tip, that sometimes it's good to just bootleg things. You're allowed. I sometimes get nervous about bootlegging things, so I'll like credit them if I feel the need. So here I was like, oh, this was inspired from this thing I was listening to by Matt Carignan, so I'm just going to give the shout out so that he's not like, this person ripped me off. It's like, no. The shout out's there. Anyway, that's a little embarrassing. Okay. So, another thing, when I am doing each month, I mentioned that I use pencil crayons. I usually will try to like choose a little palette to work with so that I have some constraints, and so that month feels like uniquely its own. So just come back to July because it's the only straightforward one. Pink, green, yellow, black. Those were the rules. I could only use pink, green, yellow, and black, and it worked out just fine. You don't need any more than that. Other months look a lot different. Let's see if I have a good example of a month. August is my birthday month, and I like primary colors, so I was doing primary colors with dancing. September was sort of a medieval theme. Lots of greens. October is obviously Halloween, so you have to use orange. I think this past year I maybe did go in order by mistake, or I still kept December for the end, because by the end I was really tired, so I did a bootleg Moomin, which is fine because I love Moomin, and Tove Jansson is sadly passed, so I don't feel bad about a tribute. And then you can also add little messages to your future self and your friends, so I like to do that. Okay, so now the tricky part is the assemblage. So what you should have going into assembling is a stack of 12 pictures that go with each one for each month, plus a cover. I didn't talk about the cover, but I like to write calendar and the year on the cover. I like to put my name so people know it's by me. And then usually, I mean, in this one I kind of did like a time theme a little bit, so like clocks and the rotation of the earth, because that's time, and agenda and someone growing, sunrise, sunset, you know. Yeah, and then you're gonna want also like a back page. So this is my very back page with my contact, and then a little secret back page with this little note and a sad sleepy bug. Okay, so then you're gonna do the magic part, and it's gonna be like the kind of thing that makes your brain hurt, but if you've ever made like a zine or collated and assembled something like this before, it'll feel familiar. So I'll give you an example. We could start from the middle because the middle is the first place that makes sense in a way. Or should we start with the beginning? Let's start with the beginning because then we'll get to the middle. It'll be very satisfying. So the very first sheet is going to have on one side the cover, and then the last page. The cover will be upside down because remember everything gets folded. And then on the flip it, and it'll have January's image, cozy flat bunny with a fireplace, and then the little sleepy time message. So this is page number 1. It should look like this, so that when it's time to fold, it looks like this. Page number 1. Then we have page number 2, which will be, oh my goodness, yeah. We'll have January, the date, upside down, leaping bunnies, a blank page, and then when you flip it, it will have the image for February right side up, and the date grid for December right side up. So February goes with December, and nothing goes with January. Then you place that right on top, and soon we will have magic. But just to confirm, if you put them next to each other, and then you fold the bottom one down, the top image should match the bottom date. And the way that I do this is that I just have them ready, and then I know, like on the back of each image I'll write what month it is, but by the end you kind of know them because you've been staring at them for however long it takes. And then I'm just gluing or taping these down to the 11 by 17 sheet. So you can kind of see if I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so that's page 1 and page 2. And then page 3, you're going to have the grid for February. So it's going to be the image for December, goes right side up with the grid for February with cute little hearts and little guys. And then on the other side, it'll be upside down, November and March. So to confirm that, I'll grab my February. Yep. And I'll put it together, put the next sheet down. When I look, oh yeah, that's right. February goes with February. This is a time when the color coordination thing helps. And you can even check the next page, the last page. December goes with December. So those ones go together. Boom. And we're working our way to the middle. It's going to be so satisfying. So the next sheet is going to have image for November with grid for March, and on the other side, grid for October and image for April. Then I find my way laying it down. The next one, we're just working through the months. October goes with April. Flip it, and we have May image with September grid. Line that up over here. Wow, I'm so still out of it. April. Oh yeah. Yes. And then the next one, you're gonna have September image with May grid. May's the best. And then August grid with June image. And then you lay that down. May. So August is facing up. That means August image with June grid. And then the most satisfying thing is July with July. When you get here, you know, and you don't have any other sheets, you know that you did it right because July is in the middle of the year. So July is with July. So then you make sure everything's taped down. You do a really good job, and you have this beautiful stack. And if you're like me, you don't trust yourself, so you literally like softly fold it in half and then look through to double check that it worked. January's with January. Oh my goodness. February, and so on. March. Oh, I like March. And that's really satisfying. The next step is the hardest part, because if you're me, you go to the printer. I usually go to Grandma Publications or whatever, or Commercial Drive. It is the place that says copies, copies, copies. Shout out to Sean. I go there and I hand it over, and then when I tell him how many I want to make, he tells me how much it's going to cost, and I'm like, oh my god, why did I do this? That's a bunch of money. But usually I still do it. And then you're almost done. You can go get a coffee and a cinnamon bun across the street. And then the next hard part comes. This is when you're going to want friends. I'm just getting another calendar. So this is this year's calendar. Then the next part is you're going to have to fold all these sheets, because it's going to be a flat when it comes back from the printer. So you're going to want to fold all these sheets. And then the way that I do it, if you have a long stapler, then bless you, you should use it. But I use a sewing machine, and I do a line down the middle on just a straight stitch on the sewing machine. You could choose a funky thread. I typically don't. Another hot tip for this part is it's really smart to actually have a line that's visible on your July page, like a line in the middle, because that will help you see what's the true middle and what line to sew down when you're using the sewing machine, because this is a part that's really easy to kind of get it all mixed up and janky. But if there's a line to follow, you can thank your past self on making this part easier. Yeah. And then you have these beautiful calendars. And then you just give them away to all your friends, and if you want, you can sell them. Okay, I think that's enough for now. If you have any questions, that's great. You can figure it out. Okay, bye.